Coach Mangini back with us now. Coach, any chance it could be, let's call it maybe a good thing for the Steelers to lose at least one time before the playoffs, maybe get it out of their system?
Well, you never want to advocate for losing. You'd much rather get your lessons from games like they've had recently, where they played poorly against the Ravens, but were able to find a way to win. And I thought that was an interesting metric to look at, because that tells you how good a team they are if you can play that badly against a good team and pull it out. And then the scare that they had the following week against the Cowboys, you'd like to get your lessons that way, as opposed to having to lose to get it. But there is something real about the pressure of being undefeated and the way that builds up, and it forces you into some tough decisions at the end of the season, where you're trying to figure out, do you sit your guys late in the season, or do you play them late in the season? There's always that discussion when you secure the number one seed, assuming they secure the number one seed. So you got to go through that decision-making process as well. I think there's some value in getting that off the table, but it's just so hard from a coaching perspective to ever advocate for that.
Coach, you know this better than us. You've been in this situation a few times. Don't you think this is just good leadership by Big Ben trying to get ahead of it? They have a fairly young locker room. And when you start off high, I never started off 9-0. I have started off 6-0. And when you lose that first one after the media and everyone on all these shows talk about you week in and week out, the young guys are feeling good about themselves. And you'll see these veterans walking around say, all right, stay humble, stick to the script, don't get too ahead of yourself. So I feel like this is Big Ben just laying down his leadership and preparing these young guys for a loss, because he doesn't want that load that can come after riding so high.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and look, Big Ben's got some experience with this. In 2004, they lost the second game of the season, and then they had won, I think it was 14 straight before they played us in the AFC Championship game, and we beat him in the AFC Championship game. So he's been through the long winning streaks and then losing in the playoffs, and it's terrible. You'd much rather be able to get everybody to take a step back, and there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. You can get intoxicated with everything that people talk to you about and say about your team, especially the young guys. And it is good leadership on Ben's part to make sure that people are looking at the ultimate prize, which is the Super Bowl, regardless of your record when you get there.
So I think all of those are really good points. I think those are separate from the idea that somehow going 16-0 makes it harder to win a Super Bowl than if you were 15-1. Like, we've had two undefeated teams in NFL history. The 72 Dolphins won the Super Bowl. The 07 Patriots came up just short in the Super Bowl. We've had 9 teams finish the regular season with 1 loss. Only 3 of those won the Super Bowl. And in fact, since the 85 Bears, we've had 4 15-1 teams. None of them won the Super Bowl, and 3 of them didn't even get there. The Big Ben Steelers that Coach is alluding to, the 15-1 Vikings didn't make it. What's the other one I'm forgetting? There was another 15-1 team that didn't quite make it, and then the Panthers who did make it. So we have plenty of instances of teams that have the 1 loss. And the Packers, the year after they won the Super Bowl, went 15-1 and then lost their first playoff game. So I don't think a loss in and of itself is valuable. And the Steelers could go 15-1 and not get a bye. Because of the new seeding, if the Chiefs also go 15-1, it's going to go down to like the 3rd or 4th tiebreaker. We don't yet know who would have it because they don't play each other this year. So I think every win is critically important for Pittsburgh, at least at this point, Wilds.
You know what? If I was Mike Tomlin, I'm going for the undefeated season. And here's why. If I asked you, said, who's the best? Suppose I asked 10 people, hey, who's the best coach in the NFL? I think you'd probably get 10 people saying Bill Belichick. And if I said, hey, who's the second best coach? I think it starts to become a crowded field because everybody's got a ring. Peyton's got a ring. Pete Carroll's got a ring. Harbaugh's got a ring. Tomlin's got a ring. Andy Reid's got a ring. But if Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing season, has won, how many playoff games has he won? 8 playoff games. if he goes undefeated, I think that moves him up to obviously, he's in the rare air with Don Shula and Bill Belichick. Now, I know, Coach, it's be a weird thing if you go undefeated in the season and don't win the Super Bowl, because I know Belichick got the other.
Yeah.
But I still think it would catapult Mike Tomlin to another level in the coaching stratosphere.
But you see, but Coach, you see how we're talking about this right now, and this is why what Big Ben said was such a great display of really good leadership, is because this is all distraction. We got Wiles talking about, Coach being one of the greatest of all time. We have the media talking about Wiles also talking about Big Ben. He should be in the MVP discussion. You got everyone talking about the Super Bowl. Like, this is all distraction. So these guys right now, and every single team is just talking about the here and now. So, Coach, you've dealt with this. I don't know how you prepared your teams week in and week out just to focus on today, because that's the only thing that matters in the locker room.
It is a difficult situation, and just to get back to your point, Wild, no one cares about the fact that you're undefeated if you go and lose the Super Bowl. If anything, you've underachieved at that point. I don't know if that would solidify your legacy or hurt your legacy. The fact that you got there and weren't able to complete the job, I think it could actually be detrimental. Everybody would rather choose, like the first year we won the Super Bowl, we go 11-5 and win the Super Bowl. I'd much rather have that than be undefeated and lose the Super Bowl. In terms of preparation, it's hard as you're winning and as you're more and more successful, because the glow of everybody outside the building telling you how great you are constantly is intoxicating. And the younger you are, the more intoxicated you get with that, and you got to overcome it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.